Away from him.
Turn up. Here you go.
Go ahead and put my halter up. And then as you can see, no matter what I do, he's watching me. Good. I get ready to get on. Make sure everything's tight. A lot of people, when they're first starting colts, they don't tighten the back girth very much. I'll make sure that that's pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and take it up another notch. He needs to get used to it right now. A lot of times if you don't do it now, you don't get any desensitized to it now, it'll be a lot worse whenever you try it in the future. Just go ahead and hop up here. Now just because I'm on there doesn't mean that he has to go. He needs to wait on me to get in the saddle, get my foot in the stirrup, get comfy, get situated, get my body weight ready, get him ready. He needs to be waiting on me. Now you can see already, I've got him to where I can set his head just a little bit. And what I'm going to ask him to do is actually go through the bit just a little bit. I want his head pretty well vertical whenever we're walking around and performing some of these maneuvers. I also want it light. I want to be able to tip his nose one way or the other. Have a nice lateral flexion, nice and soft, both ways. Nice and soft. And I'm not pulling on him hardly at all. Whenever I get ready to turn him, I need to make up my mind beforehand what part of his body I want to move. If I want this part of his body to move, this is the part of the body I need to be pushing on. If I want this part of his body to move, this is the part that I need to push on. If I'm going to push on his hindquarters, I'm going to tip his nose to the right, put my foot towards his hindquarters, and look what happens. Hindquarters move, forequarters stay still. Now, same thing, if I wanted his forequarters to move to the left, I'm going to tip his nose ever so slightly to the right and produce a counterflex and push in on his shoulder. And get his front to move over more than his back. That's pretty good. Good job, buddy. Now if you'll notice, I also want him to be able to set his head and go through it. That doesn't make him tough mouth. But what that does allow you to do is it allows that bit to do its job. If you have your horse's head at a vertical position, the bit is allowed to work on the bars of the horse's mouth. If your horse's head is up here like this, your bit goes up into his head, up into his jaw. The bit has lost all of its power. It can't do what it was designed to do. I also like for my horses to have a naturally low headset, and I don't mean like what you call a peanut roller, where it's just down to the ground like that. But I also don't want them up in the air. The lower their headset is, the more level their neck is according to the saddle. A lot of times, the more relaxed they are. And if you can tell, he's just moping around. He's happy just to be alive right now. you can tell I do a lot of hand movement. I can talk with my hands. He's not scared of me. He keeps his neck low. You know, he's moving his ears back and forth. He's checking on me, but looking outside too. These are all really good things right now. He hasn't stopped walking since I put him into a walk. It's another thing that we're looking for as far as consistency, just like on the groundwork a while ago. When I do put him up into a trot, I'm going to try to keep that head vertical like we were talking about. I'm going to ask him to continue around without stopping, without trying to go into a walk. And then whenever I ask him to turn, I'm going to have in my mind what part of his body I want to work on. Now today, I'm going to ask for his shoulders to move. It's going to be really hard for him. He's only been ridden for 2 weeks. So for him to maintain a consistent pace at a trot and try to slow down his hindquarters, but at the same time keep his forequarters in the same pace that we already maintained, he's going to really have to be thinking, not only with his head, but he's going to have to really be working his muscles. And as long and gawky as he is at this stage in his life, he's really going to have to work. So we'll try it out. And like I said, we're going to tip his nose and produce a counterflex before we move his shoulder. The reason why we're going to do that is because we don't want his rear end to start fading in and out. And I assume that you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, if you're not careful, you'll have horses that will move their shoulder, but their rear end will go this way at the same time. Well, a lot of times, if you'll notice, what has happened is their head has actually started to tip in like this. And that allows them a lot more flexibility in their rear end. But if you tip their nose like this and ask their shoulder to move over, it's almost like it produces, they can't do it. They're physically incapable of pushing their rear end over. So what we're going to maintain right now, we're trying to build a foundation of him doing it correctly, especially as gawky as he is right now. We're going to tip his nose just a little bit in the opposite direction, trying to make sure that his head stays down with the headset, and then move him over. And we're going to try to make this work to where he moves his shoulder more than he does this.